TIFU by getting stuck. My employer has had a couple of high-profile sexual misconduct charges in the last year. As such, anyone who is in charge of other people is taking that stuff extra seriously. My individual department is rather blue-collar, and almost all guys. When there's no one around, the sexual jokes happen all the time. Also, the spaces that my department works in are usually loud and gross, so the important people rarely come in. My department makes sure all the machinery runs. There's a bunch of pumps and motors and stuff. Today, 2 coworkers and I were told to go turn on a water pump. We made sure that the inlet valve was open, but the outlet valve was in a tight spot under a water chiller. The most experienced guy out of us 3 climbed around the back of the water chiller to crawl underneath it, saying, "A guy the first worked with a couple years ago said that this is the only way to get at this valve." We then tried turning the pump on, and it started making noises like it would if that valve wasn't open fully. So we turned it off and decided that I would verify that valve is open properly. I looked, and the water chiller had a hole big enough to fit in above that valve. And it looked close enough that I could reach it. I'm a little skinnier than the other guy. My arms are longer than his, and I'm also more flexible than most of the guys I work with. It's not unreasonable to think that I could get somewhere he couldn't. I bent into that hole and reached for the valve. I could almost reach it, so I slid a little bit forward. I slid a little more forward then. I grabbed the valve handle and made sure it was properly opened. It was all ready. That pump was having some other problem. I then tried to slide out. That's the moment I realized that I was now wedged between a couple of I-beams with nothing to push on to slide out. I fucked up. I told the 2 coworkers I was with that I fucked up, and I was stuck. They then tried to lift me out, but couldn't. So coworker 1 went to get help and some straps. A come-along was one idea if we couldn't work it out. Coworker 2 stayed with me to make sure I stayed safe and conscious and stuff. He also took a picture, because it's a funny situation to be in. Then a bunch of people came down into the space to help. I can't look around to see who it is, and only 2 people are talking. I recognized the voice of my supervisor, who got behind me and noticed that the multi-tool on my belt was getting caught, and asked my permission to take my belt off. As he was taking my belt off, I realized I had what is hopefully a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. I made sure to speak up loud enough that everyone could hear me. "What are you doing, step supervisor?" Quote. Normally, this would get a laugh from everyone who comes down there. This time, nobody laughed. Sometimes, I think I'm hilarious, but nobody else does. That's probably what happened. Too much time on Reddit or something. With a little bit of wiggling, eventually we were able to free me. When I got out, I looked around to see the 2 coworkers I was with, along with 2 of our supervisors who were both still part of the boys, and our department head who I thought had gone home already. The department head didn't approve of my joke. Now, I need to write a letter to his boss, a lady who's known for having a stick up her ass, explaining the joke I made and why I thought it would be appropriate to say that in the workplace. TLDR. I got stuck and said the classic line, but didn't realize who was all in the room. Now I need to explain incest porn tropes to the lady who banned Titanic for being too sexual. Suggestions are appreciated. Picture. https imager.com/a/claxvlu. Just chalk it up to you being nervous about getting stuck and unsure of getting out. So you cracked a joke for reassurance, and in a moment of stress you chose a slightly inappropriate joke. They'd have to understand that no matter how sticks are up their butt. That must have been scary, especially after they got that strap on. Was the story worth the consequences? I bet you it was, 'cause at least I got a good laugh out of it. I am an employment law attorney, so I get why they are shitting on you for the joke. But the joke was fucking hilarious. Well done. Just say all the blood was rushing into your head and you don't remember anything after grabbing the valve. I think it was worth it, haha. Be sure to attach your OSHA complaint to your letter. That chiller has some heavy corrosion on the tube sheet. They need better water treatment. Also, the joke is hilarious and I would have done the same. I'd personally play dumb. It's my natural reflex. It's just a common joke I've heard on the internet in reference to people getting stuck. What do you mean it has sexual origins? Quote, regardless, it might not be a bad idea to play up the fact that the joke has evolved past its sexual origins. It's not a direct quote from a porno anymore. It's a whole meme. Right? Maybe? IDK. Perhaps suggest that they explain to OSHA why this is the only option in using a required valve? Seems like pretty poor design. And wide open for a real injury. Not going to lie. I'd have died laughing had I been there. That shit is funny. That looks scary as hell. You should be allowed to make a joke just for that. Even though you used a throwaway. Anyone familiar with the situation would easily recognize who you were based on the story and the image. It wouldn't be a bad idea to delete this if you need your job. I'm speaking from experience. What boots are those? I'm looking for a pair and they look pretty rugged. Looks like a body sliced in half. Are you wearing like Space Force boots, woman's boot, or what am I looking at? I feel like you're in the Navy. They are looking for you to formally acknowledge the policy and not explain yourself. Describe the incident. State you tried to use humor to cope with a stressful situation. Acknowledge the policy. Apologize. State it will not happen again and you respect the policy. Anything else and you will be on the shit list. You were under stress. You are one of many who resort to humor when under stress. Take sick leave to mitigate the stress you are now having due to being pressured to write the letter since they have no sense of humor. 10 out of 10 would also be in this exact situation. I would not be able to resist the joke either.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epicaricast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.